Hi, and welcome back again. It's Gerald from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source talking to you, like I said, each week right here on Podcast Radio Network and also 8 other audio sources to obviously get that word out there in the pop culture scene. Well, I'm here with the lovely Esther Yoon from Plantronics. That's right there, Plantronics, one of the leaders in audio and also home electronics. Esther, you and I were talking before we came on the air as far as all the great products that Plantronics has in gaming, for fitness, and also just basically for great home audio listening. So if you can, please run through what you have here today, here at the CES 2017 Digital Experience.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Esther here, and these are the Backbeat Pro 2 wireless active noise canceling headphones. These are absolutely the best value for wireless active noise cancellation headphones for under $200. You're not going to get a more premium experience. You have wireless functionality, active noise cancellation. You have smart sensor technology that knows and senses the headphones when they're on your head and will automatically play and pause your music.
Okay.
You also have 24 hours of streaming, wireless streaming, but 60 hours of active noise cancellation if you're not streaming. So if you're on a plane, traveling, you can just shut out the noise for 60 hours.
Oh, nice.
The other thing is, you know, once you lose battery, this doesn't become dead weight. You have a 3.5 millimeter jack, which can connect to anything that has a 3.5 millimeter jack component.
Well, I've heard lately that the 3.5 millimeter jack is kind of going passe, which is, as to me, a little bit concerning. I noticed rumors that obviously the Galaxy 8 is leaning that way. Obviously, we know about Apple's issues as far as that's concerned. As a member of the great Plantronics company, what are your thoughts as far as losing, popular products that people like with that great features then not added?
I know there's that trend that's happening right now, but if you look at the overall scheme of mobile technology, you still have tablets, portable media devices, portable game devices that still support the 3.5 millimeter jack. You have game console controls that still support it.
Excellent point.
And so, as of now, the 3.5 millimeter analog jack is still relevant. And as far as I know, the majority of the iPhones are still 3.5 millimeter. I know iPhone 7 has removed that, but it's a trend that's happening. But in terms of the now, the 3.5 millimeter jack is still relevant.
Okay. But what's the retail value again on this, the MSRP?
Yeah, so the MSRP for this is $199.99.
Really? Wow.
You can find it on Plantronics.com or Amazon.com. And it actually comes with a great carry case so that you can stow your headphones properly when you're traveling. It also feels really premium. I'm sorry I can't share how great it feels with all you guys, but really premium materials, a nice seal around the ear so that you get a great bass response. So whether you're playing games on your mobile device or listening to your favorite playlist, it's going to sound great.
And when I did listen to it, I did notice, like I said, a very great spatialized sound, but also as well a nice tone and a very deep bass, which I know is lacking with a lot of headphones out there. So what else do you have right here from Plantronics today?
Some of the other products that we have are the Backbeat Fit headphones.
The Backbeat Fit headphones?
Yep.
Okay.
So these were designed from the ground up to be for fitness. Anything from couch to 5K all the way to if you're training for, as an Olympic athlete, these are going to be stable, comfortable, and able to support whatever training needs.
Okay.
So they're waterproof, they're sweat resistant, and so they're protected against salt as a corrosive element.
Oh, very nice.
8 hours of battery life, and you have all your on-ear controls and phone call capabilities.
Now, I do want to ask you real quick, because you mentioned the 8 hours battery life, and you talked to me about this one right here, this one right here that had the sensor as far as is concerned, if your battery's going down. How long was the battery life on that one? I just want to make sure.
24 hours of battery life.
Oh, that's right. Okay, great. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
so you
amazing.
can travel around the world without having to charge your headphones.
Because I told you before we went on the air, I have 2 Plantronics at home, including one I have worn down to the nub as far as the earphones are concerned, and that one even at its peak, it only lasts about 8 to 10 hours. So that is great indeed for audio listening. So what else? What else you got for us? That seems great so far. So I truly appreciate it.
We have a very diverse line of consumer products, but they all have one thing in common. We are experts in audio and communications.
Yes.
So this product really touches up on the communication aspect. Our Voyager line of products has been a bestseller for years.
Yes.
We're constantly breaking new ground in terms of the, Bluetooth headset technology.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So
this has 4 microphones, 6 layers of wind noise cancellation technology, all the way from hardware down to the firmware. Each microphone is like a tiny computer. It knows what's picking up noise and what's not, and will adjust the microphone volume accordingly. It's also designed to be super comfortable for all-day wear.
Now, this particular model, because I know Plantronics Bluetooth headsets have been at various prices. I know a lot of vendors that I've seen. I've actually purchased some in the past myself. So what's the MSRP on that? Because I know obviously people are looking for a great value to use with their various cellular phones.
Yeah, so this is $119.99.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, you get 7 hours of battery life.
Real nice.
You get smart sensor capabilities on this, so automatic answer when you put it on your head. You also get smart routing. So one thing that's a pain for Bluetooth headset users is when your headset is connected, but you're away from your headset and you get a phone call.
Okay.
What happens is, if the headset senses it's not on your head, it will automatically route phone calls to your cell phone.
Okay.
So that you're not accidentally picking up your phone when you get a call, and all of a sudden the audio is coming through here.
Okay.
We want to avoid that mishap, because it's a very inconvenient experience, and it generally means you have to say, hold on, let me get my headset, or let me call you back. So this, I would say, is a little computer that you put on your ear, and it's great for making you sound like $1 million.
Okay, fair enough. Now, I noticed as well, like I said, since we're Pop Culture Cosmos, one of the aspects that we deal with is obviously a lot of technology issues, but also as well a lot of video gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Since we have a lot of gamers out there that follow us via our sponsor, Retro City Games, big shout out to them.
Yeah.
I noticed, well, actually you've also dipped your toes into the water in regards to virtual reality as well. So tell us a little bit about the headsets you've got right here lined up for us.
So this is where I hand it off to Gregory to talk about our awesome lineup of gaming products.
Hi Gregory, it's Gerald from the Pop Culture Cosmos. I'm on live as far as it's concerned, Facebook Live right here with our sponsor Retro City Games here in Las Vegas, Nevada. As far as the Pop Culture Cosmos is concerned, as far as we're a radio show that comes on every Monday, and we deal with 8 different audio outlets. And Esther was just talking to me about the wonders of the great Plantronics products that she has, but as part of Pop Culture Cosmos, we deal with a lot of gaming, VR, technology. So tell me a bit more about the headsets you got right here.
Fantastic. So, well, first of all, Gregory Moquin. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm a segment manager for everything gaming at Plantronics.
Of course.
Visiting you from Europe.
Oh, okay.
CES, yeah.
A great hotbed of gaming.
Yeah. So I'm sure you will appreciate my French accent sometimes.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So let's go through the lineup. Starting with the 400. Kind of our entry level really for console gaming.
Okay.
2 versions, 1 Xbox, 1 PlayStation. Both will come with 4mm ear cups, great audio, very lightweight. That's important. We know as gamers that when we're playing for long sessions, we're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. 200 grams is what you will need.
That's extremely appreciated, because I know even playing on my PlayStation 4, Xbox One, even 2-3 hours with the wrong headset can give you quite a headache.
Exactly. So what we're trying to do here is to make the headset comfortable, but that shouldn't compromise the robustness of the headset, which means that those products are really kind of memory foam with robust material, so that you can really throw them on the wall should you lose the party.
And if you're listening to this on the radio show, he just flexed the actual headset upside down and actually almost pulled it apart because it's so flexible.
Yeah, only
that's
me can
amazing.
do that. You cannot do that because I've got a trick. No, I'm kidding. It just memory foam
of material.
So kind of interesting. So that's entry level, but we're also getting into the virtual reality. What we've done is really to partner with Sony to actually develop a headset that was perfectly matching and fitting the PlayStation VR.
Okay.
First of all, it's color. So you can have like the perfect match between the PSVR and the Rig 4 VR. They're both looking good together. In terms of ergonomics, you will have no contact whatsoever with the PlayStation VR mask, so that it perfectly fits together. And I would say that last but not least, when you're immersed into your virtual reality, you cannot be immersed into your sound, because you will just lose control.
It dominates it, and it takes away from the actual viewing or as far as the experience is concerned, correct?
You got it, and that's why we've worked on open ear cups, which means that you will have airflow coming into the ear cup, and that will help with your natural balance, so that you can maybe play for longer session with this headset.
And this is the Rig 4 VR, correct?
This is Rig 4 VR, absolutely, yeah.
What's the MSRP on it, and when is it available? Or is it available now?
It's available now at $69.
Oh, that's a great value.
Which make it an affordable headset for PlayStation VR.
Exactly, and that's great because obviously the PlayStation VR came out at a price point which they're trying to make it attractive to a larger consumer base.
Exactly, and we're trying to really, match everything with that. So that's Rig 4 VR. Moving into the latest product that we have, maybe start with the Rig 600.
Yes.
Which is actually maybe more my headset nowadays. I used to be gaming only. I'm not now. I love music. I love watching movies. So, I can do my gaming using my mic boom when I'm at home, but I want to use the same headset, which actually I think look good, when I'm on the go. Actually, what I will do will just be to change this boom mic, turn that into an inline, and like by plugging it like this, I've got something that, I can wear, and I'm not looking like outrageously gamer, but, it's just got a great lifestyle headset.
Of course.
That's 600. That's not this top of the range at the moment. We're getting into wireless.
Okay.
So same thing, very lightweight. That's important. We're still using the same kind of material here, but the good thing with this one is that we're giving 24 hours of battery lifetime.
That's awesome. Similar to the unit I just saw with Esther.
Exactly. We're not thinking about the gamers playing for 24 hours in a row, right?
Some do.
They will. What we're thinking about is that play 4 hours a Monday, 4 hours the Tuesday, and so on. And please think about charging it maybe over the weekend. And by 3 hours, you've got another round of 24 hours.
There you go.
So yeah, that's a brand new lineup, all available at the moment, except maybe the Rig 800, which are actually launched as very remote.
Ah, sweet. Full 7.1 on that, or what's the standard?
On the roadmap for the moment, we're talking about 40mm speakers delivering superior audio quality. But yeah, we have something on the roadmap. Come next year, and I might have something to show you.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, we truly appreciate both you and Esther coming on as far as it's concerned. Again, this is Gerald from the Pop Culture Cosmos, checking in live here at the CES 2017 Digital Experience. And thanks again to Plantronics for taking the time to speaking to us today.
Thanks, Gerald.
And we are live once again. Hey, this is the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glasper from Pop Culture Cosmos and also Game Source. And I'm here with the product director, Matthew. How you doing today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
All right. And he's here for Plantronics. Now, we just visited you guys already at the Consumer Digital Experience for the CES 2017, but it was kind of a little bit of a hurry. It was obviously crowded, as you called it, speed dating, in many ways indeed. So I wanted to actually sit down with you guys a little bit more because as someone who has used and purchased Plantronics products in the past, and actually has one that's actually, I was noting to Esther that I have one that's actually worn down to the nub.
That's awesome.
I've had it for a long time.
Yes.
And I still use it today. Your thoughts as far as Plantronics, where it's going, and since your input is so there as far as the actual product design, it's so great to have you part, and as far as Pop Culture Cosmos is concerned, to tell us more about all the awesome stuff you guys got going on.
Yeah, so as you can see, our portfolio has quite risen to a very large level. About 5 years ago, our brand was more heavily noted with Gamecom. We had Gamecom, it was PC oriented, and really most of our emphasis was based on PC products. myself and another couple of other great people joined Plantronics. We said we want to make a transitional shift from PC over to console, and in order to do that, we of course got to comply with all the brand new consoles that are coming out, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and that's where we really started getting to work. We realized the configuration in order to go ahead and work with a console is much more simpler than it was when it was the 360 days, where you needed special adapters and whatnot. Now it's a 3.5 plug-in, and so really a lot of the craft and the arts go in with the headset design and less about having to find a special way in order for it to connect. And that's what you're going to see in a lot of our products. Things are specifically tuned for Xbox, or they're specifically tuned for PlayStation 4, or there's a particular feature set and what we're trying to go with. So I'll go ahead and I'll jump right in with one of our first products.
It's also just the fact that these systems not only have certain requirements, but they also have different players, different feels, different needs. Absolutely. As far as it's concerned. And then I also noticed, as we talked about with Esther and also as well with Blake at the Digital Experience, there's also talk about, stepping into the VR mode and how that's becoming really just growing by leaps and bounds as well.
So there's the multiple platforms, of course, aspect that you got to look into it. And then I also call it the graduational phase. So I like to use my cousin as a great example. He's 14 years old. The kind of headset that I would give him at 14 years old, it's going to be a little bit different for the more mature gamer.
Yes.
And not only just from an age perspective, but I would also have to say that from a competitive level of example. So for instance, if you're a kind of, and I don't like to use the word noob in a negative way, but if you're someone new to gaming, right, you're more on that lower spectrum and you don't play that much, then there's a particular headset for you versus a more competitive headset where you got more enriched audio in order for you to hit the footsteps so you can, shoot more people in your first-person shooter game, that kind of sort of aspect. So, and gamers realize that. They really do. They understand the different ranges of headsets, and they really try to aim for something that's sort of fit their lifestyle and their competitive level.
Well, also we're talking about, obviously there's a lot of young individuals that are out there that are still playing video games heavily. Obviously, esports is a huge influence on the scene as far as gaming is concerned. But when it comes down to it, one of the things that obviously is surprising is that the average age of the average gamer is in their mid-30s.
Yeah.
And reaching closer to my age than as opposed to the... obviously sometimes people think just firsthand, they think of video gamers, they think like you said, a 14-year-old that sits in his room or whatnot that just plays games all day. That's not necessarily the case. And if they are individuals, the average gamer is in their mid-30s, then those people do not, like you said, have as much time to go ahead and play nonstop. So they want, when they get it down, and like me, I'm busy so many hours a day, so when I finally get down to playing Uncharted 4, Overwatch, what have you, you just want a comfortable experience, and it looks like Plantronics is helping to provide that out.
Oh, absolutely, and we're a bit of the more mature brand. I mean, we've been around nearly almost 60 years now.
Wow.
So, and we only specialize in audio, so, we've gotten it down to quite a science. But yeah, going back to your point, I think the stigma is that of course it's that 14-year-old gamer, and we're not going to lie, there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And nor do I want to not say that. Obviously, a large portion of our audience is heavily focused on the video game scene, and they are a younger audience. But it was just so interesting as the years have gone by. The average gamer has gone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you're going to even see it now with the millennial generation, since that generation was rooted in video games, grew up with video games. That culture is going to graduate within time, right? So I wouldn't be, I would expect that maybe mid 40s, it may go jump down to that maybe 10, 20 years from now. So I totally agree. I just think that people look at like esports and they see the posters, and most of the imageries are young folk, right? Typically ranging between 15 years of age all the way to about maybe 22 to 25. So yeah, it kind of creates that illusion that mid-30s guys with mid-30 females don't play video games. It's completely false. And I know actually a bunch of friends that do. So, but let's jump right into I guess maybe some of the cool solutions that we provide.
Absolutely.
People all ages. So I'll start with this one. This is the Rig 400HX and the Rig 400HS. Let me pull out the boxes for you so you can kind of get a good look at the packaging. Controller that we have. There's Walmart, Target, etc. here in the U.S. The great thing about this particular product is, as you can see, it's extremely lightweight.
Yes.
Right?
And that's a key. That is definitely a key.
Yeah, and you can hold it so you can know. It is extremely lightweight.
It is definitely. I'm holding it right now, and I'm telling you right now, it is definitely one of the lighter weight units that are out there. And to me, that is extremely attractive because I do get head fatigue. I'm not going to be dishonest with you. With a lot of headsets, I do. But I'm very appreciative when there are headset makers that are out there that are willing to provide a lighter alternative that still sounds great.
Yeah, and when you think lightweight, unfortunately, again, there's that bad stigma that people think, oh, this is an inexpensive product because it's lightweight, it's using cheaper materials. That is not the case with this one. So I'll show you, it's got a modular design. So unlike other headsets out there that's got mechanical pieces, you move them up or down, which tend to break. This is what this headset entails. It's not meant to break. It is, again, for that youthful individual that wants to grab the headset and fling it out. And I'll give you a good example of what I mean. So I'll go ahead and disconnect the ear cups, and you guys can see, you can probably hear the snap. It's got a good snap that goes with it to let you know that you're removing it. Now, what headsets out there in the market can you flex a headband to that degree? I mean, this thing, you fling it across the room, it's not going to break.
And I noticed that when I was doing, like we said earlier, the speed dating at the Digital Experience. One of the things that Esther was showing off was actually that flexibility, and that had to actually I know they couldn't see it as far as it's concerned, but my jaw was dropping at the amazing flexibility, because as someone who has broken more than his share of headsets because of that actually lack of flexibility, that makes it so much better for me. So and also users as well. So
absolutely, and that's what we expect with the market. In fact, we're quite shocked, and I'm not going to throw any competitors out there, but when we start looking at the return rates, they're exponentially high. Right? And we know that that's because, of course, you're a youthful person, you get upset, you fling your headset, they break, or sometimes you just drop the headset and break. With
it's
this
just
particular
wear and tear.
It's wear and tear. That's what it is. You're not going to have issues with that. The other cool thing is that we actually comes with a removable mic. So if you wanted to use these as just standard headphones, you can use that. Maybe not the camo version I'd recommend wearing in public so loosely, but if you're that person you want to do it, go ahead. But it comes with a removable mic. I like to call this sort of the mommy-proof design almost, where if you don't want your child to go ahead and communicate with those people on Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you can remove it.
Sweet.
Or, and in my cousin's case, and most users, you're just jumping into a competitive mode, and that's what you're looking for, is a nice noise-canceling performance mic. That's what the Rig 400 comes with.
That's awesome.
So you plug it in, you go ahead, and now you can communicate with your friends or explore the unknowns, as I like to say, when it comes to Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
But going off on as well, like I said, because I know I've told you, as far as my concern, the lack of flexibility with a lot of headphones previously. The structure it's just so much nicer than what I'm used to dealing with, because as I said, especially right here along the sides, that's where I've broken more than my share. I'll be honest with you, more than my share.
There's a pivot right here where the mechanical piece, in order for you to adjust, breaks off more than you know. What happens is sometimes even users put it on their desktop like this, and then after time, that piece weakens and it breaks off. You won't have any of those issues with this design. And you can even feel it's got a nice soft touch to it.
Yes, it does.
So it doesn't feel like painstaking like when you grab it. So very, very pleased. If you check online, we encourage people, go to walmart.com, 400HX, you will find that the reviews are all 4.5 and above. I honestly, don't quote, I don't even think there's 1-star review or any negative review on this. So we've been extremely pleased with the 400HX.
And that's great that you're aligned with obviously the largest retailer out there. So it's not like somebody cannot find your products.
Oh, I can't throw out quite numbers, but just say we sell thousands, and I mean thousands a week, right? So all of these reviews are, of course, organically, and just like with Amazon and stuff like that. So we look in there. We want to get feedback. Maybe they were unhappy with the design at some point or not. We want to know. Maybe the headband cushion or something wasn't to their liking. Why was that?
Because you could think it's the greatest thing in the world before you release it into the wild, but it's until it gets released in the wild that you find out exactly how good or bad your unit really is.
And that's why we encourage people to go pick up a Plantronics product, or this one of the ones I'm going to show. Do an honest review on it. Reach out to us personally. We encourage it. We're much more customer facing, I think, than most companies are. Any part of our Facebook or anything, you'll always see us address any customer complaints like that. We don't get many of them, but those that we do, we go ahead and we address them.
Well, that's awesome to hear.
So the other cool thing, inline controller, it's an absolute must. Mute. You got volume control on the side, as you can probably see. So it's all the basics you need to go ahead, when you're ready, grab a controller, just plug it in. It automatically puts it. And then these are tuned for the particular console. Now, the coolest thing, which may not be cool to the end users because they just think it's marketing-esque, there's an actual reason to why we have these licenses with Xbox and PlayStation 4. This is a bit of an education, I hope, to your viewers. I wonder, is it just a gray marker that anybody can put? No, that's not true. You have to go to Microsoft, and you have to go through a certification process.
That's correct.
Xbox is very egregious on their certification process, so if it's us or anybody else, if they have that, that means they've gone ahead and gone the extra step to make sure that their product works 110%. PlayStation, though, we're the only wired headset that I know of that has a PlayStation license here in the US.
Wow.
I mean, you can just tell the badge of honor. It almost looks like it's a Sony product.
Yes.
You have to go through it from a business level and a certification process. They are very, very critical who they license with.
And that's amazing because they market their own headphone sets. When allowing you guys to actually be a part of that system and that part of that ecosystem that's there is truly amazing indeed.
It says a lot. They were really pleased with the 400 design and the other products that we launched, and they consider us a very tight partner as we do with them. And so we're very pleased that we were able to go ahead and achieve the license with Sony. So I do encourage people to look at. You see this badge, that means that Sony has gone out of their way to ensure that the customer is going to enjoy this product. So again, many shout outs to Sony and now I guess your customers know kind of the egregious process that people don't really think about. But now you look on store shelves and you wonder why they have the badge, because they spent time to earn it.
Exactly. But then no, that's great that you have that license. Those licensing deals in place indeed, so you never have to worry about customers that buy an Xbox One or an Xbox One S or even the upcoming Project Scorpio. I'd actually like to see them keep that name, but they never do.
I think everybody was pleased with that. They actually thought, hey, that's actually a pretty cool Microsoft game coming out. Yeah.
But they never do. They never do. And but that if they have a need to go ahead and get a quality headset, that they can look right towards your products to make sure that there's something that both Microsoft and obviously PlayStation has agreed upon as well as good products.
No, absolutely. All right, cool. Well, let's move on to the next headset. I'm going to go through it a little bit quicker, so
no worries.
Spend too much time. But this is again sort of graduating message that I talk about, and it's really graduating on competitive level. I like to use that more with age because, like you said, people's age is all over it when it comes to gaming. But when you're ready to be a little bit more competitive, and you want to use your headset on the go, so you want to have that sort of dual lifestyle, this is the headset of choice. One of my favorites, actually. It's called the Rig 600. You can get a good look at what the packaging looks like. It's fantastic.
There you go.
And again, this is positioned for multi-platform. That's why it doesn't have the badge. Not that we didn't want to go through the certification process. We could have done it. But again, we wanted to advertise, again, that this works for both Sony and Xbox. What makes this headset great, it's not only stylistically how it looks. Again, you can go ahead and put it, you can wear it around your neck so viewers can see that. You wear it around your neck, it's more appealing in that case.
Very nice.
Take it on your go. Works the standard headphones. You got inline control that allows you to answer calls and then mute when need be. But you're ready to get in that competitive mode and you go, I got to go ahead and I got to get into Sony or Xbox. All you have to do is unplug the mic, and I don't have the other connection with me, I think someone took it. But imagine with me that you would have another connector, you'd plug it in, you have a boom cable that comes out, and you have the same volume and mute controls that you do on this one.
And I remember this one had the flexibility as well, is that correct?
Yeah, it's quite flexible, but again, it goes back to this. In order to have a pivoting ear cups, you need to have this mechanical design.
Okay.
But again, there's a little bit of flaws. I understand, like I was just telling the viewers, that when you do with that, you're less likely to break. However, these are still pretty damn flexible. Are they as flexible as these? No. But again, the audience intended for this is most likely not going to be the more youthful type of gamer, right? That wants to rage quit and throw their headset.
They're going to be they're going to take a little bit more time and care with their products.
Things, of course. So, great pair of cans. They also come with this technology called bass tubes. So that means if you're listening to your rap, you want that heavy Jay-Z or whatever you're listening to, it's got heavy bass, it performs fantastic. It takes the bass and allows it so that way when bass is coming in, it doesn't distort it. What happens when you get a lot of bass, you start hearing like fizzles in the background, you get all this heavy distortion. This headset eliminates that. So
nice.
Very pleased with this. Again, this one's being retailed right now at $99.
Oh, that's a very good value.
Yeah, very good value for what you get, absolutely. cool. I'm going to transition into that kind of VR story that you were talking about a little bit.
Because, like I said before, virtual reality, obviously 2016 was a big year for the VR industry as a whole. So
I'm going to pull this one out. So I'll let my mannequin kind of display why this headset's so cool. So actually, let me pull out the VR mask so you can get a side-by-side.
And that's the Rig 4 VR.
This is the Rig 4 VR that comes right here. I put it over here so you guys can see it. And this is the VR mask, of course. As you guys can tell, the color matches. One really great element of this product is that I was able to work with Sony closely. We got early looks at the VR mask, like anybody at the trade shows or whatnot. And we knew that early on we wanted to design a headset that would specifically work with VR, not only functional-wise, but from the design. Why is the design so important? Let me show you. As you can see from the headband frame, you need clearance in order for the headband to fit on top. If you don't have clearance, that means the headband's going to come in contact with the mask and you just won't have a good, comfortable fit.
Of course.
As you can see, look at how much this frame expands, so that way you can imagine that the frame would fit there easily, and that clearance would allow you to have a nice, comfortable fit. It's also extremely lightweight, like you felt with the 400s, very lightweight in that design. And the other cool thing is that we come with a cable management system.
Because as you know, the VR system is always
heavily cabled.
Yes, indeed.
So I'll pull out this inline controller so you guys can see it. I'm just gonna grab all the massive cables
I think you probably you said you were had gotten in early on the stage of development PlayStation on that, and I bet one of the first things you could see was like, there's a lot of wires involved in this.
I don't blame them. I understand these are early, units, masks. The VR, it requires a lot of cable connections, but it kind of puts a damp when you think of headsets.
Yes.
So they were smart to put an inline controller here. The unfortunate part, so as you can see, it would plug in directly into this port. So the unfortunate part is if you have any standard pair of cans, you're going to have about a 2-meter long cable. It's going to be a long cable. What happens in VR? You're moving your arms, you're flailing around. The last thing you want to do is have your arms catch on a cable.
Exactly.
And the headset's more prone to do that. So we came up with this cable system that's a short cable that's tailored to this inline controller. But we realized when gamers are ready, they can just unplug it, put in our longer cable, and then just plug directly into the PlayStation 4. So you can use this headset not only for the VR mask, but you can also use it when you're ready to play on your PlayStation 4.
That's awesome.
The last and cool thing is that if you can get a close-up, there's little vents, little like slits on the ear cup. It's a vented ear cup. What does that do? It relieves acoustic pressure on your ear and allows your ears to breathe.
Okay.
What does that do? Well, as you know, anybody that's used the VR mask, I can't go sometimes more than an hour. I get disoriented. I've always just had motion sickness.
As do I.
Yes.
As do I.
So about an hour in, you take it off and you're like, whoa, you're in another world, right? You start to feel that motion sickness rise. This helps alleviate a lot of that. And a lot has to do with balancing. You're moving around just like you would on a boat. Moving around, you got to be able to balance so your head doesn't feel like it's shaking left and right, which creates that sort of motion sickness effect.
Exactly.
So again, for some people, minorly helps. For some, majorly helps. Majorly to make sure that you just straight. This is the rig. We're the first VR headset to allow a shadow of a doubt, way more into it. And just you can see that the 4 VR for last. It's time to cut the cable, as I like to say, and where I think most people are moving towards, which is wireless headset.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. That is a feature that a lot of people are looking for. It's also it's also a feature that, especially in the mobile industry, as I know you've probably heard with the Samsung Galaxy S8, as far as the photographs showing that it's ditched the 3.5 millimeter option. Obviously, you know about the iPhone issues as well. There was some verbal feedback to it, but it seems like the manufacturers themselves of these products are actually going to go ahead and lean away from that direction. I'm not exactly thrilled with it, but I understand as far as where they're going with it.
I have an iPhone 7, so I personally took a little bit of a while to adjust. Not as hard for most people because, again, I work for Plantronics, so most of our products are Bluetooth.
Of course.
Of course, so it worked, it complied well, but I had been used to using some of our older products, which just connected straight to the 3.5 jack. But as it takes us a little while to transition, we're just finding more and more people in the mobile industry and in gaming, they're starting to want to cut the wire. I think in the past, it was more of a technical standpoint.
Because they were I can tell you, sort of almost a stigma with the regular consumer as far as thinking that it's wireless, that's great, it's the freedom of movement, but am I getting a trade-off as far as sound is concerned?
No, absolutely. The trade-off in sound, battery life was another issue. Gamers were just not impressed with the battery life that most wireless headsets have. A couple years ago, they would only go 4 to maybe 8 hours at most.
Yes.
And gamers game more than that, or they just don't want to have to constantly recharge or have this dual cable coming out in order for them to use the headset. So
Exactly.
we've eliminated all of that. We spent quite amounts of time in development to go ahead and release this product, and I am very excited to talk about this one. So, what's one of the stigmas that come with the 800HS? With the wireless product, battery life. The 800HS, 24-hour battery life. So you can imagine if you're that Twitch streamer that's gone a 24-hour gaming session, the headset will still last.
Nice.
I mean, that's fantastic. The other great thing is that it's extremely lightweight. Most wireless headsets have a massive, massive battery pack.
Yes.
And they make it very heavy with the frame and all that. As you can feel, this is very lightweight. It almost
Wow.
feels like there's no battery in it.
Exactly. I mean, compared to what you showed me earlier as far as the lightweight on that, this is very comparable to it, and that's amazing for a wireless headset.
Yeah, this is, again, very, very lightweight. Don't quote me or anything like that. I would imagine it's probably one of the most lightweight wireless gaming headsets out there for sure. The other cool thing is we got all the controls on the ear cup, so if you can see there.
Yes.
We have the chat balance wheel right here. Why do you have a chat balance wheel? I think it's one of the most used pieces of technology. If you ever played Xbox Live or PlayStation 4, you get that noob that just wants to scream and shout and cause, become a troll.
Yes.
And you can just easily mute him. Boom, mute. You don't have to go in your settings, find the guy, mute him. Just mute him, put all game audio, and you don't have to be disturbed by that annoyance. Other thing we have is master volume wheel. Of course, every device needs that. Micro USB, so don't worry about having to find some proprietary cable. The other cool thing is we got EQs on the bottom. So we realize there's specific games, right? If you're in a story mode, you may want more bass, listen to the enrichment of the nature. If you're in a competitive mode, we have this more of a flatter EQ that allows it to hear footsteps better. So if you want to hear the person coming behind you, that works much better on the first EQ. This is going to be retailed at $149, and
not
it's
a bad price.
coming out in September. So
nice.
Very stoked. We have a limited launch quantity that we did do in Australia. Maybe we should look favoritism to that region. But we're going to be coming out with the HS and the HX in September, and I really encourage our fans to look forward to that. We'll have ones that lean a little bit more stylistically to the Xbox One S, so if you have the newer console, I think you're going to fall in love with it.
And you spoke to all about retailers, we spoke about Amazon, Walmart, of course, and all that, but if they want to find more about your great products and go into a little bit more detail, because, if they're a true audiophile or if they're a gamer that's looking for that awesome headset to wear, where can they go?
Plantronics.com.
Sweet.
We do all of our product sheets on Plantronics.com, and we even provide our frequency charts on the back of our packages. I mean, how many companies do that? I mean, you can see from the RIG 600, we actually share our secret sauce right there on the package.
That's awesome.
So if those audiophiles, I want to know, I wonder what that curve looks like. I want to know how much bass I'm getting. I want to know what the treble is like. We go ahead and we print it on the back.
Because there's some audio makers out there that just put it almost like an obligatory, almost like a pack of cigarettes where they have to put the Surgeon General warnings. That's where they put their specs on at the very small print.
You got to find through their encyclopedia of pages in order to find that some engineer just randomly posted on their website. We're not like that. We love to share it. We're performance first. The great thing that I like to tell gamers is if you go to League of Legends and you watch their massive tournament plays, what headset are they using? They're using our headset. It's an aviational headset that we transformed into a gaming headset, sort of our like Formula F1 car, as you will. We don't sell it in public. We only give it to organizations like Riot and, of course, Warcraft. There's a lot of other games out there that they use our headsets with. It's become naturally known as really the tournament headset.
Yes.
As much as some of the other people out there would love to try to acquire their headset on stage, ours by far performs the best. That these companies will not use any other headset.
Oh, that's nice.
Most acoustic noise sealage, as you can imagine, there's 10,000 people. They can't hear the crowd. We make sure our headsets don't do that. So check it out. Again, we've been around nearly almost 60 years now. You know, we do headsets and headsets only. Audio is our #1 value. So
it definitely shows. And as someone who has used the products before, I know that's been very quality for me indeed. And it's been obviously great having you on here again for Plantronics. Again, just telling us about the greatness of all their products, and especially for gamers and audiophiles out there looking for the better advantage as far as, you know, even for VR, as far as, you know, they need the great headset for VR, because they talk about getting all the stuff for VR, and they've got the glasses and the peripherals and whatnot, but they sometimes forget about the audio experience. So it's definitely great to see all your products meeting all those needs.
That's fantastic. Well, hey, quick shout out to all the fans out there that are listening, that are big Plantronics enthusiasts. We really appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, I really do ask that you guys reach out to us. We're great at answering our fans, and so
it's been a pleasure indeed. Thank you again for being part of the.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you again for being part of the Pop Culture Cosmos. Appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Have a good one.